Hi, my name is Joey. I wanted to make this video as a review and as a resource for anybody who is thinking about purchasing the Fujifilm X100V. I've been shooting with this camera for a few months now, and I wanted to put something together that just showcased images from my life as I've carried this camera around with me everywhere. So I've been calling this camera my go everywhere, do everything Fujifilm X100V. So I'm hoping that this video will help you decide if this is the camera for you. In my opinion, great photography depicts a scene, subject, or situation through the eyes of the photographer. I encourage others not to showcase images that anyone could have taken. Rather, showcase images that only you could have taken. For example, when I gaze upon an image of a scene seen through a foggy, misty, dreary New York City window at an everyday pedestrian, I am graced with the opportunity of seeing the world through Saul Leiter's eyes. When I examine the piercing countenance of an honest and authentic individual memorialized within a photograph, I am honored with the chance of seeing the world through William Albert Allard's eyes. Their images evoke emotion within me. Likewise, when searching for a camera, I tend to gravitate towards ones that minimize, if not eliminate, barriers between the way I see the world and the images I produce. Fujifilm has given us a camera chock full of significant improvements over previous models that I believe can help artists illustrate for others how they see the world. The X100V checks a lot of boxes, so let's dive in and explore them in more depth now. The first thing that should be discussed is the build of the camera, since the first thing you'll likely do when you purchase an X100V is pick it up. In my opinion, this is the most beautiful and well-made camera I've ever owned. You know that feeling when you write a long paper, draft a detailed report, complete a woodworking project, or any other task that takes time and effort, and you revise and revise, cutting away that which is unnecessary and ultimately arriving at a simplified final product? It's a great feeling. While I think Fujifilm may still be basking in that glorious feeling in regards to this camera, because the X100V has been simplified. The design is sleek, and redundancy, repetition, and inefficiency have all been removed. The ISO dial has been redesigned with ease and comfort in mind. The directional pad is a thing of the past, leaving behind a wonderful spot for the photographer's thumb. The camera's buttons and dials feel sturdy, secure, and sophisticated. The entire body feels like a solid piece of aluminum. The camera is powerful, detailed, gorgeous, and feels amazing in your hands. The Fujifilm X100V is a go-everywhere, do-everything photographic tool. I know that photographers use the X100 series of cameras differently. Personally, the X100V is my primary camera, and I use it for everything, and I largely take it with me all of the time. It's the perfect tool for documenting my life and showing others how I see the world. I hope my photographs are illustrating that point. Fujifilm gave this camera a lot of features that make it an everyday companion. For the first time, Fuji introduced a super slim, touch-enabled flip screen. I have to confess, I was originally against the addition of a flip screen, believing it would take away from the simplicity of the camera. But after using it for a while, I've become a fan. Fuji was able to provide photographers with a high-utility, low-profile screen that makes capturing the impactful moment that much easier. I love taking pictures of things down by my feet, like shells on the seashore or flowers along the edge of a trail, and the flip screen is just great for that. The X100V, as its predecessors before it, includes a built-in neutral density filter. This 4-stop ND filter means I just have one less thing to carry with me when I hit the road with this camera. And for the first time, Fuji mostly weather sealed the X100V. I carry around an adapter that protects the front element of the lens and pop it on whenever I might be in a situation where weather sealing is important to me. The camera is simply a joy to hold in your hands. It's small and light, perfect for inconspicuous trips out and about. I don't miss the directional pad whatsoever, given that the joystick on the back functions wonderfully in its stead. Everything on the camera is where I would want it to be, which guarantees that I can adjust settings with only a modicum of effort. As I said, the body feels like a solid block of aluminum. For anyone who is curious, the X100, the S, the T, and the F do not feel like the V. The X100V is the most refined of the series. For me, it feels a notch above an already fantastically constructed camera. This may be blasphemous, but the X100V feels Leica-esque to me. Simply put, the Fujifilm X100V is simple and enjoyable to use, two characteristics that make my job as a photographer that much easier. The camera has a new and improved fixed lens. I really put my X100S through its paces back in the day. I know that camera and its fixed lens like the back of my hand. I know what it can and can't do. Therefore, I rarely, if ever, shot at f2 since the images were so infrequently of a caliber that I would end up publishing. Setting the lens to f2 on my X100S was saved for only certain circumstances. Well, times are changing. The new 23mm f2 lens on the X100V is sharp, clear, and crisp. So far, I have primarily shot the camera at f2. The out-of-focus areas are a joy to play with, and the images at f2 are exemplary. In my opinion, the new lens is by far the greatest addition to the X100V, and personally, I would no longer consider purchasing an earlier version of this camera because of it. I've been oh so pleased with the quality of the images I've taken on the X100V so far. I hope you're enjoying them. Now, there may be some of you out there who are asking yourselves, but Joey, the X100V is just a fixed focal length camera. I could simply use my phone to take comparable images and just save all that money. In response to that assertion, I'd like to say this. Yes, our smart devices can take quite stunning images these days. But no matter how sophisticated the software and lenses get on our phones, they can never truly replace our cameras. If photography is all about spotting something pretty around you and capturing it, then yes, maybe your phone will suffice. But if photography is something more for you, as it is for me, something artistic, something expressive, an experience unto itself, then I would tell you that the X100V will give you something more than your phone ever could. In my experience, if you work hard and practice, you'll learn to see the world through the X100V's 23mm f2 lens. And when you learn to see in that way, you'll be able to pre-visualize and compose photographs in your mind's eye. You'll turn the dedicated aperture ring. You'll manually set the ISO. You'll twist the shutter speed dial, and you'll lift the camera up to your eye to view your surroundings through the rangefinder style viewfinder, and you'll take images that matter to you. For me, photography is art. It's experience. Photography is one of the ways I relate to the world. It's how I express myself. In my experience, my phone simply cannot compare with my Fujifilm X100V. I decided not to talk about megapixels, autofocus, the viewfinder, and the LCD. As a person who's shopped for a camera before, I have no doubt that all of you can readily find that information in the next video I'm sure you'll watch after mine. The goal of this video was to share my thoughts on the camera and to show you my photographs. When I'm thinking of buying a lens or camera, I love to see real photographers' images. So here are mine. These are images from my life, my friends and my family, the places I've gone, the things I've seen, from before and during the pandemic. These images are how I see the world. They're not good or bad, they're just images. If you like them, then great. We probably see the world in a similar way. If you don't like them, that's okay too. I bet I could learn a lot about life from viewing your photographs, since we probably see the world quite differently. In the end, we buy these cameras to take pictures, to show others how we see the world. For me, the Fujifilm X100V is the perfect camera. I like taking observational images of little details, interesting light, lively smiles on good people's faces, things like that. I know that I can't take a close-up picture of a black bear at Yellowstone National Park with my X100V, but that's okay. I'll simply find something else to photograph while I'm there. So there you have it. That's my review of the Fujifilm X100V. But there's really only one question that matters. Will the X100V be your go everywhere, do everything camera? Thank you so much for taking the time to watch my video today.